So last week I was talking to this woman who's been a runner for I think about 2 years now. She had trained herself up and done a 5K last year, and then she just recently did a 10K in the last few months. I'm not exactly sure on the schedule here, but what she was saying to me was that she really wants to do a half marathon, but she's scared she wouldn't be able to finish. And I hear this all the time from runners, but what really stuck with me in this case was her certainty around it, like just how certain she was that she wouldn't be able to finish. And so I really wanted to take a minute to kind of like unpack that because, like I said, I hear this all the time. I kind of hate to admit it, but I think endurance sports has a bit of a gatekeeping problem to it. It's not one that like is intentionally created. It's just the way that the sport is presented to the outside world. If you've never done a race before, you don't really know what to expect there. And all you really generally see is the highlights. You see the super fast times, the elites setting new PRs. And there's kind of this like belief that that's who these races are made for. I even found this myself when I first got into racing. I was really surprised by like the variety of people you'll actually find at one of these races because I didn't grow up as a racer. I got into it very late in life. And so I kind of experienced the same gatekeeping phenomenon myself where I just thought I didn't belong there. But really, endurance sports are open to anyone who wants to do it. So I want to break that down a bit more. Right? So the thing here is that like having a goal to do something big like a half marathon or a marathon is awesome. But because of that gatekeeping perception, a lot of people pull back and they say, that's not really for me. Now's not the right time. I got to train myself up better. Maybe in the future I'll get to it. And a lot of people put these goals off. And the thing is that like that really holds you back because every time you set your goal smaller, you really lower your ceiling of what you think is believable for yourself to do. And you kind of just settle for never trying for it, never going for it, playing at the small level, staying at that 5K or 10K if you ever manage to give that a shot. And like I said, I encountered this myself. It took me a long time from when I first started running to talking myself into doing my first 5K race. And looking back at it, like, yeah, it seems kind of funny now with how much racing I've done and the types of challenges I take on now. But that fear, that expectation that you don't belong, that imposter feeling, honestly doesn't go away as you take on bigger and bigger challenges because it's just something new, right? It's your brain's way of trying to keep you safe that new thing is too much. But I actually, a long time ago, really took the approach that I wanted to find the race that was going to actually like really show me my limits. So every time I finished a race, the very first thing I told myself was that one didn't break me. I wonder if I can do the next one. And so here's the reality of what I found out through that process over the years doing over 130 races. So the first fear most people have that they express is a fear of not finishing. And I hear this a lot from my clients as well. But when we look at the numbers and we look at the math, it doesn't always really add up because here's the thing. Lots of races have very generous cutoffs. If you take on like a big half marathon race, like we have one coming up here in Orange County soon, the cutoff I think is around 6 hours. You can walk that and finish that, right? So like once you look at the numbers and unpack the math behind it, you'd be surprised how slow you can actually go and still finish. So it's really not about will you not finish? That's just where people's mind goes to first. The next big resistance people usually have is they don't want to get injured. And that's totally reasonable, especially depending on the race. Like if you're talking like a Spartan race, like the risk of injury is much higher than just doing a local 5K. But again, if you pace yourself, if you pay attention to what you're doing, if you go at a pace that works for you, at a difficulty and challenge level that works for you, your chances of getting injured are actually pretty low. And so all that leaves left is the ego side of things, which I think is really what holds people back, is that they're not expressing, is really this fear of judgment, that they want to look good out there. They don't want to be the slow person. They don't want to be the person coming in last. And again, that's totally reasonable, but do you want to let that hold you back? Because as I said, when you do enough races, you're going to see that there is all types of people out there doing these races for reasons that have nothing to do with competing or trying to come in first. The only person that they're racing against is their own previous self that thought they couldn't do this. And that's really, I think, where the best mentality, the best thing you can do for yourself is really cement that you are doing this for yourself to prove you can do tough things. That's it. That's what I coach. That's what I do as an athlete. That's what I believe in. And just to give you like a quick example, I raced in Sparta, Greece 2 years ago now at this point. And in my age group, I came in 101st out of 103rd, but I still showed up. I still did the race. I still had a great time. I still proved to myself that I was a competent, capable racer. But like I said, the more you do this, the more you grow as an athlete, the more you're going to find that fear is always there. So at this stage, this year, one of my goals is to take on my first Ironman. I'm doing it in Cozumel in November, and I'll be honest, I'm scared. It's double the distance of the toughest races I've done. I've done 3 half Ironmans before, and I'm doubling that distance. And when I'm out there training these days, doing 50-mile bike rides and realizing that I have to do double that I'm going to be sitting on my bike for 6 to 7 hours, like, yeah, that's scary. That's intimidating. But I'm going to build myself there. I've got plenty of months to get there. And like I said, as long as I don't stop, I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish. And so what's the reason to hold back at that point other than ego of coming in last or looking silly out there? But I know it's going to be a great time, and I honestly cannot wait to get there and do it even when those fears are showing up. So what do you do with this? If this helped change your perspective of anything, how do you move forward with this? Well, I always tell people, find a race 4 to 6 months from now that feels a little nervous to take on. If you're a traditional racer, that's pretty easy. If you've done a 5K, sign up for a 10K. If you're at the 10K level, go for the half marathon. If you're at the half marathon, go for the full. It's a pretty nice ladder to climb. If you're looking at other race formats like Spartan or triathlons, there's usually same deal, a ladder from sprints to supers or sprints to internationals in the tri world, whatever it is. Find that next level of difficulty that you've been thinking about but haven't pulled the trigger on yet, and sign up 4 to 6 months from now, and now you're committed. And then the training starts. Just start putting the work in, and then all you have to do is show up on race day and let the race take care of itself. It's honestly not that complicated, but the fear can be so intimidating that it just creates enough resistance that you never sign up. And like I said, I've had this conversation dozens of times, and I always end up talking to the people after the fact, months down the line, and they've all ended up doing the race, and they're all so grateful they ended up doing it. I think most people realize that once they've got it in their head they want to do the thing, there would be a lot more regret if the race came and went and they realized they just sat on the sidelines because of fear. And that's all it comes down to. Fear is what holds us back from leveling up, from growing ourselves as athletes, challenging ourselves, seeing what we're capable of. But the reward for pushing through that is so great because it just transforms how we look at ourselves and what we believe we're capable of. And then there's the next challenge on the horizon. There's always going to be something bigger that's going to make you afraid and resist chasing. But the more comfortable you get leaning into it and pursuing it, you'd be amazed how far you can go in just a few years. So find that race, get out there and do it. I'm wishing you the best of luck.